Hey y'all, it's Michael. So for today's video, I thought I would do a little bit of a reading catch up and let y'all know how my reading is going, since this is basically going to be posted on the halfway point of the month. In regards to Vlogmas, I don't know. All about the books that I did currently finish. I was gonna do a full video review of this and then this other book that I'm gonna show y'all later. But basically it's just not coming to fruition. Secret behind the scenes, there's a lot of footage that I have of me like starting, especially this year, like with like book reviews and whatnot. But I just wasn't feeling them, and I just was like, I don't feel like editing. So I thought I would make this video because I was like, you know what, let me just give y'all a little bit of a catch up so y'all will know how my reading is going. So Weather by Jenny Oval. This, as you saw, I just randomly picked this. This I thought was just okay, sure, fine, whatever. Like in a few months I'm probably not going to think about this at all. This is about Lizzie, and it's essentially kind of like this very introspectual of the times type of novel. It's really hard to describe because I think the writing style has a really I don't want to say the word, but it has this quirky feel to it. It's very it's written in almost like vignettes, and we see Lizzie basically going through her 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 everyday life, but there's also something happening with these like the end of the world type of situation. Not too much giving too much away because I don't want, I might say too much, but the title Weather has a lot of like double meaning and implications, especially looking at the climate of today's world. There are some parts in here that I think it's very humorous. It was funny. I was like, haha, I get it. But there were parts where I was just like, okay, sure. And for me, it felt very, to me, it felt very try hard, where it was like trying to be funny, or like very trying to be satirical. But I just wasn't grooving along with it. And some of the sentences, I was just like, oh, okay. Because it's written in these like, almost like vignettes type of structure, but it's like almost stream of consciousness. And for me, I just wasn't grooving along with it. And there were parts where I was just like, no, okay, let's just get on. And while it's short, I knew I wasn't enjoying it when I just didn't want to read it. I just kept like putting it off. And I don't know, I just wasn't grooving along with this one. The next one is a short story collection that I posted a video already, so if you want to check it out, I'll leave the link down below. And that's Florida by Lauren Groff. This has a lot of interesting short stories. There were some that were like really interesting. The one that that's called Eye Wall that I really enjoyed. It's about this woman who basically gets stuck in her home as a hurricane is coming, but then it's also an exploration of all of these men in her life and the way she's viewing them. I thought it was like the way that it's written and the way that it's like structured. I was like, oh, this is really good. It really gives this really weird side that Florida is known for. Like, there's a reason why that joke in Atlanta, Florida man, is a thing. Groff really explores, especially how women in all of these were essentially women who are in Florida, like the exploration of that. There's just some stories in here that I was just like, okay, so I was like so about it. So yeah, check out the video for my full thought. One that I finished for my book club was A Cuddle Witch by Nanity Okorafor. This was such a fun book. I really enjoyed this. I kind of want to read the Akata Warrior next because I just really enjoyed it. So this is basically about Sunny, who is albino, and come to find out, like, she realizes that she's she has magical power. She's like a free agent. That's what they call it. And she gets thrust into this world where like magic is happening. The world building is so cool here and just so full of imagination. I really love the world building in here, and I think that's where also a little bit of like the things I didn't enjoy as much about this book is that I wish this was longer and thicker, and like I just wanted more. And I say this because there are parts in here it would have benefited from expanding. There are parts in here where it felt as though it was cut too short, especially like the part where they go up against the main antagonist. And even the parts where they're learning more about their powers. There were parts in here where they were it was telling instead of showing how they get to certain points within the plot. But I think that for me, while I could forgive that because I just really enjoyed the world. It's so cool. Okay, that's just one word to describe it. It's really cool, and it's such like a fun paced book. I just wish there were more, especially with the explanation wise. So yes, let me tell y'all the books that I'm currently reading. The first one is Walking with the Wind and More of the Movement by John Lewis with Michael Dorso. This I got past the you know the part, if you read a lot of nonfiction, the parts where they show the pictures, which is like always my favorite part because like it's like you know that you're halfway through. This is so interesting, especially like I mentioned, reading it in 2020. It definitely has a different. It has a different, but also at the same time, and kind of like the same lens, if that makes any sense. Like different, but at the same lens. Especially with Black Lives Matter now. I'm doing a full-on review of this, and I will continue doing that video. But I think I am going to read also March, which is the graphic memoir of Lewis. I kind of want to see how that perspective or like how that is presented versus with this, because Lewis wrote this in like 1990. Yeah, 1998, and March is the graphic novel is more current. So I kind of want to see what the differences are. I'm really liking this. My favorite part, of course, are when the other civil rights leaders are showing up, because it's like one of those things where you read a lot of nonfiction, so you're learning more about other people. It's kind of like when I was reading about Alan Locke, when they mentioned like Zora Neale Hurston or Langston Hughes or these other predominant people from the Harlem Renaissance. It's like, oh, that's really cool. And here that is happening too, especially how he feels, how Lewis at this time felt about like Malcolm X, which was really interesting. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., like all the other civil rights leaders, Rosa Parks. It is really interesting. So those parts I'm really enjoying, and I'm at the point now where Selma's about to happen. So it's really interesting so far. So yay, there's that. The short story collection that I'm starting on is, well, I'm a good chunk into it. It's Hitting a Straight Lick with a Crooked Stick by Zora Neale Hurston. From the get-go, because I'm doing a short story collection review on this, so I don't want to say that much. But from the get-go, I can see why I can see the accolades that Hurston gets, because the first short story, like, I enjoyed it immensely. I was like, oh, I love this. Like, I was like, I get this. One of those things where the more I am absorbing short stories, like, there's like a form to it that's so different from like longer novels. And from the first short story, I was like, oh, I am in. I also one thing I really enjoy is the dialect, the language. I don't really know what to call it per se, the vernacular in here, because it's written as if the way that people would say it. So it's not written in like, it's like written phonetically. I kind of enjoy that type of writing. I live in Georgia, in case you don't know, so I am exposed to that, like the way that people speak. I really like it, and the first short story has so much of the things that I love, and I was like, it has like okay, see, this is go too much into it, so check out the full review when I get done with it. But suffice to say, I'm really enjoying this. And yes, I will have to read Their Eyes Were Watching God someday. So another one that I just started is The Rainbow by D.H. Lawrence. When I tell you I just literally started on this, I literally just started on this. Even from I don't know that much about it, because even from the prologue, well, the notes in the beginning, I didn't even know that this is like a duology. Like there are more books within the family. I didn't even know this was a family story. I'm about halfway through is A Children's Bible by Lydia Millette. This was supposed to go into conjunction with this, because there's a blurb on this from this author. There's a blur from they're blurring each other, and I can see why. This so far is just okay. I see all the references. I see all the biblical references. I'm like, okay. There are points in here though I thought it was funny. Like I was like, that makes me laugh. So we'll see how it goes. we'll see. So yeah, those are the books so far I'm currently reading. Hold on, let me make this thumbnail right quick. Okay, there we go. So yeah, if you read any of these books, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Until then, I'll see you guys if there's another Vlogmas video tomorrow. Bye.